Mountains began on Monday at Alpe d'Huez, and the winner made history. There was also a Scotsman there too.
Well, this could well be a historic day in the Tour de France. The Colombians have never won a stage in this event. They tried it for the first time last year. And, of course, no amateur equally has ever won a stage in the Tour de France. You may remember that Robert Miller himself in the Pyrenees a year ago had a great duel with Patrocinio Jimenez, and Miller won that duel and left Jimenez to be caught by the chasers. And more recently than that, just over a week ago in the Pyrenees again, Miller won once more, and it was Luis Herrera who chased him all the way to the finish but didn't catch him. So Herrera now anxious to make amends and finally land the win. That the enormous press corps here from Colombia, and I can't imagine what they'll do at the finish if Herrera wins, because they are broadcasting live to Colombia as much as 8 hours a day. They don't see a wheel turn until the last hour of the race. Goodness knows what they tell the people in Colombia, but they have a listening audience of 20 million. You can see the nature of the twisting road, pursuing him all the way home at Laurent Fignon. More interested in the fact he's putting more time between himself and Bernard Hinault than catching Herrera up ahead. Cheers all the way for Bernard Hinault, simply because he's come here not as the defending champion for a change, but as the man to try and take his 5th title in the Tour de France. This is one rider who refuses to give up, and Robert Miller is behind him. So Robert Miller has steadily climbed through the field now. He's caught Bernard Hinault. So once again, the 9-stone strong man from Scotland, Robert Miller, is back in the action, and this time on the terrain that has not been kind to him in the Tour de France before, the Alps. He knows he can climb in the Pyrenees. He's won there the last 2 years. Now he really is living up to his reputation and coming to his best form in the Alps as well. All the cheers for the Badger, and that's what they call Bernard Hinault. But Robert Miller sitting in nicely, measuring his effort further down the slopes. Here's the leader once again, Luis Herrera, forced the attack at the start of the climb when he caught up with Hinault, then dropped Hinault with a fine acceleration. And now Miller has come up from the back being the remnants of the front group, in fact, that crossed the Côte de la Frie, a first category climb. Miller was placed in the top 3 over that climb, and now he's going to try and see if Miller can get rid of Bernard Hinault, 4 times winner of the Tour, and Hinault looks to me as though he hasn't got it in his legs to raise the pace. So Miller goes on, and this is a tremendous piece of riding by Miller. He's gone away from Bernard Hinault. So the Scot with the big heart is now going off in pursuit of Luis Herrera. Every place he gains, of course, is helping him towards his goal. The King of the Mountains, the first English-speaking rider ever to win that title, if he can get it, because Herrera is his main adversary, but it's places that count, and every man he knocks out is a better place on these mountains for Miller. It might well be, in fact, that Arroyo is the next prey for Robert Miller, because Robert Miller, I think, is now 4th on the climb. Just about a mile and a half to go to the finish of this stage, and Miller has the bit between his teeth. It's in this last couple of kilometres on the climb of Alpe d'Huez where the fatigue creeps in. The adrenaline suddenly leaves you, unless, of course, you're first, as in this case here. And it's nice to see that the French and the Dutch and the Germans who have come up this mountain today to cheer on their own are reserving more than a few cheers for the Colombian, because he's setting a little piece of history for the Tour de France. He could soon be the first amateur rider to win a stage in this marvellous event, and this has been a marvellous race this year. The public have sensed it's been a great race. They've come out in numbers never seen for years. Quite literally millions of them on the roadside, and look at those scenes. A young man trying to keep up and running at full speed, and you wouldn't believe that Herrera was climbing a mountain with a gradient of about 1 in 12. Fignon thinking more of Paris a week away, and the final yellow jersey is doing enough here. Possibly for yellow today, but certainly tomorrow, because Vincent Barteau, his teammate now, is a long way down the mountain. Herrera of Colombia comes up to the line, and the flags are waiting. They can't wait to put them up. I don't know how they're going to control the crowd because they're poised. And as Herrera comes to the line, what's he going to do? His arms go up. Luis Herrera hits the line. 4 hours, 39 minutes and 24 seconds for the little man from Colombia to make history in the Tour de France. Well, this could well be Robert Miller coming up to the line now. A glance over his shoulder, so Miller is going to take 4th place in the Alps, and that's a terrific ride by Robert Miller. It's going to also lift him higher up the classification. He really must now think of a top finish in Paris. He said he's not interested, he wants the King of the Mountains, but surely now he must go for a top place in Paris. He comes home 3 minutes and 5 seconds behind, and that may well give Robert Miller the overall lead in the King of the Mountains. So Vincent Barteau has worn yellow for 11 days, sees his yellow jersey passed onto the shoulders of his teammate and last year's winner, Laurent Fignon.